Hi guys, it's F-Race Mad at the home of racing. Today we are bringing you episode 2 of Time Attack Tip and Tricks. Now, today we are at Silverstone, the British Grand Prix, and what a classic this is. It is raining. It's a classic really. So we are in the Caterham on the full wet tyre, and there's general tips I'm going to say at every single video, so here are they. So guys, if you're brand new to the game and you haven't had any track experience on Silverstone, especially on a new layout, watch this lap because this gives you a good insight of where the actual AI is going to be braking as you go across the line here. It is a completely different scenario because if you go online, it's always a dry circuit and all the cars are equal. Now, it is a sock setup, so you don't have to worry about setup, but you got to worry about where the braking points are because you're on a soaking wet track on full wet tyres. You can easily spin it, but for my case, and I'll get to that a bit later, I kind of do better in the wet than the dry, but like I said, I'll get to that a bit later. But if you are new to the game guys, and you have been on Silverstone before and only been in the dry, watch this lap so you can see where the track goes and where the braking points are. The next general tip guys is stay within the white lines. If you go outside of the white lines or the track limits, that the time will be disallowed for your time. It may be a quicker time, but you have gone outside the track limits and the game forces you to stick on the track and not to make any wide and sudden movements. And also, if you do go outside the white lines in the last sector, it will invalidate your time for the current lap and also the next lap. So just take it easy, don't go full throttle. You can go flat out if you want to, just to keep on practicing where your braking points are and keep up the speed. But just be careful because you may invalidate your lap for the next lap if you do go off in the last sector. And the last tip really, it's just a general tip for this track, because it is wet, DRS is disabled. So you don't have to use DRS because of the wet conditions. You only have to worry about curves. So you don't have to worry about anything. You just have to worry about getting the apex right, getting the corner, getting the clean exit, then applying the curves at the corner line. I'll use it between probably 4th and 5th, 3rd, 4th, maybe 5th gear, and then stop it when you get to when you're about to gear up for the 6th gear. So that is general tips done for the track guys. So let's get on to the track tips and what has helped me throughout doing this Go Challenge. The tips I gotta give you for this track guys really is just practice. That's all it is. Now for me, I do find racing in the wet really enjoyable, and I really can get the grips of the wet weather just to find that actual grip from the other player. But for me, it's just practice, and you got to be careful, especially in the last sector, like I said on general tips, because if you go outside the white lines, it will invalidate your next lap as well, and it does do that on the back of Hannah Straight when you go into that right hander. If you go wide there guys, you will lose your time for the next lap. But all I can really say for Silverstone, it's just general practice. Get used to the car, get used to the grip, and get used to actually coming out the corners, because you can lose a lot of time from the exit of the corner because you're constantly trying to keep the car straight. So throughout the corner, try and go up one gear maybe throughout mid corner, or even go up through the gear like you just saw there. I was in second gear. Normally you're in first gear and then you can rev up, like just go through the gears on the exit and the drive, but you have to keep it in second just so you can keep the car controlled and straight and actually true and get the power on earlier. So that's really my tips, just general practice. And if you think you're not confident of putting the power on early, always use the next gear up just so you can actually get used to the exit of it. I'm sorry that there's not really a lot of track tips for this guys, because Silverstone is kind of like a demanding circuit and all it is just practice. So let's stop with the tips and go ahead and have a look at my lap. As we're coming into the final couple of corners before the lap finishes, we are on a new layout for the second year at Silverstone. As we're going across the line now, we're getting a silver medal, but we don't want that. We want the gold. So let's have a look at this lap. First corner, 6th gear. It's a little bit bumpy through midway through that corner, so just try and keep it straight. We're braking just before the 100-meter marker. Maybe you could brake a little bit later, but then you would have gone a lot more wide and hit that curve there. Keep it in second gear. Maybe gear down to first just to get a turn in a bit more. Gear up second early. Go into third. Use a bit of little curves and then hit that clink. Now this is where the DRS is named before the race, but there's no DRS here because it is a wet lap. Into 6th gear, don't bother going up to 7 because you gotta go down 3 gears. Into 3rd gear, hugging the left hand side of the apron, letting it run wide a little. Now down to 2nd gear, hugging the last corner of what it was the old Grand Prix circuit. Now coming on to the old start finish line stretch. Going into 5th gear, now 6th. Now, don't gear up, keep it in 6th gear, and you're gearing down 1 into this very fast corner. You can afford to go a little bit wide here, as much wide as you can, but try and get back on the circuit ASAP or the lap will be invalid. Now, I love these corners. 6th gear, gear down to 5th, hit the apex, gear down to 4th, hit that little apex. Now gear down to 3rd and keep it in 3rd throughout this corner until you get onto the famous Hannah straight. Now 4th. Now use a bit of curves here. Now use the remaining if you do want to, like I do here. Into 6th gear, you will hit 7th gear. We're going along the final stretch. The last couple of corners to go now. 100 meters, break down to 4th gear, maybe even 3rd gear. Try and hug the right hand side just to get a good line. Now going up to 4th, now 5th gear. No more curves, it's just getting these apexes right. Now going down to 1st gear. Should have really been in 2nd gear just to get a bit more traction, but it gives you a good turning. So now you slowly gear up into 3rd, now 4th, hitting the last kink. We're going across the line in the 1:46.967 for the gold medal. So I hope you enjoyed that lap, guys. So let's have a look at my assist, because I always show you what my assist is. So here we go into the options, and here are the driving assists that I use. Everything is off. So that is my lap, and that is how I race. But you can feel free to put any of those settings on for you, and then just turn them off if you want gradually. So there is my confirmation of my medal and the time of 1:46.967. So now, like always, I am going to show you where I am on the leaderboard. So let's go to Silverstone. Not bad really for me, and I was very surprised where I was as well. So let's have a look at the leaderboard. This is the global leaderboard for the PC. I am 63rd in the world as of the 24th of September. It's now been a couple of days, so I've probably been about 100 mark. But I hope you did enjoy this, guys. I certainly did make it, and I had so many outtakes that I'm not going to put up. So if you have got any suggestions, tell me what your time is after these tips. I really would like to hear from you guys. So it's been F Racing Man with tips and tricks, episode 2 at Silverstone. I'll see you later, guys, and take care now.